Y'all, what motivates you? What's your focus? What's your motivation?
My daughter, my family, what I had to go through to get to this point, and this chip on my shoulder motivates me every morning. I wake up, go handle my business, and just try to be a better job on and off the court.
How do you feel? Nobody saw this, but you saw it. You were underestimated. How do you feel about that?
I honestly don't care no more. It is what it is.
What's going on, NBA fanatics? This is your friendly neighborhood Memphis Grizzly homer, Memphis X, and I talk hoops. In this video, we are going to critique a top players list in the NBA and where they have Ja Morant placed. But first, every hero needs their theme music.
KeyAno.
Grizz gang, go hard. Baddest in the game, we be on one. I talk hoops, so secure. All up on the court, but we gon' score. Memphis bringing heat straight from Tennessee. Demorest back in let's go.
All right, we are a little over a month away from NBA Media Days for the 2022-2023 NBA season. And we are starting to cook up with the videos and getting our list together. Everybody around the NBA, I am talking. And one list in particular that I came across on YouTube, I'm going to point out today because of where they had Ja Morant. Now, you already know that Ja Morant is my MVP favorite for the 2023 NBA MVP award. But this particular list is from The Volume, a YouTube channel. If you probably know it best for hosting Draymond Green's podcast on there. But this one, they have many shows on there. And this particular show is called Hoops Tonight with Jason Temp. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. And he has been coming out with a top 25 list for NBA players for this upcoming season. And he has Ja Morant on that list. Now, you can take a guess on where he has Ja Morant before I get to where it is. And if you do have a guess on where you feel Ja Morant should be in a top 25 list, put it in the comment section before you get to where I tell you he's listed at on this video. And I want to see how correct you guys are. Now, I was looking at this list. I've been kind of following along with it off and on because, he's been doing parts and pieces as he's going down through the top 25, and I wanted to see where Ja Morant lasted or where he was ranked by this particular guy. Now, we all know Ja Morant finished 7th in the MVP voting last season, so you would think that would clearly put him in the top 10 player ranking on any sensible list that was presented. I mean, he was just 22 years old. He should be getting better and better. And there is no reason for anybody to think that he will be slowing down. He had a very explosive playoff season, averaged 38 points against the eventual world champion Golden State Warriors. So, hey, I would put him squarely in the top 10 in any list you can come up with. But we're going to get through this list. Now, of course, Ja Morant is not number one on the list. That belongs to Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I cannot disagree. But it starts getting pretty curious from then on. Steph Curry is number 2, which I guess you can't really complain with the reigning most outstanding player in the NBA Finals. You can't really complain, especially somebody who's a 2-time MVP on the league and who just had a crazy ass playoffs. Then you have KD at number 3. LeBron at number 4. LeBron doesn't play defense anymore, so Luka at number 5. Okay. Jason Tatum at number 6. Okay. The 2-time defending MVP at number 7. I just can't get with that. Joel Embiid at number 8. Jimmy Butler at number 9. And I kind of disagree with that. Kawhi Leonard at number 10. Can we see Kawhi Leonard play 65 games before we start just anointing him back? It's been kind of 2 seasons since he's played, or a season and a half, it seems like. Paul George, number 11. So the Clippers got 2 top 11 players. I am sure we're going to have them as the favorites for the NBA championship then. Number 12, Brandon Ingram.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Now, I know I am the resident Grizzlies homer. I know I am that. I will admit, I drink that Grizzly flavored Kool-Aid every day when I wake up in the morning. It tastes so good. But come on. How in the hell can you justify having Brandon Ingram ranked above Ja Morant in any freaking NBA ranking? What's the logic? What's the logic? Well, let's hear a little bit of his logic right now.
Number 12. This one's going to be a little controversial for some of you guys, but I've always valued this player particularly. Brandon Ingram. So, in this regular season, he averaged 23, 6, and 6 on 55% true shooting. Somewhat underwhelming, right? But his breakout came in this postseason run. There are a handful of breakout players in this postseason run. Anthony Edwards, Jaylen Brown, Ja Morant, obviously, in his first postseason run, their second postseason run. But Brandon Ingram was magnificent in this playoff run. So I'm super high on Brandon Ingram, obviously. This is why I thought the Pelicans should trade Zion Williamson for Kevin Durant. I'm worried about Zion's health. I'm worried about Zion's ability to eventually become an impact defensive player. I'm worried about how long it'll be before he can really, really, really help them on a championship level. And they've got such a good roster around that with CJ McCollum and with Herb Jones and with Trey Murphy. I love the way that roster is put together. So I like the idea of pairing Brandon Ingram with Kevin Durant. And you can do that by trading Zion and getting Kevin Durant back. It's a super interesting potential dynamic there with the two of them. I'm not sure how it would work with salary filler if they'd have to include CJ or something along those lines, but I'm super high on Brandon Ingram. The idea of pairing him with Kevin Durant and 2 really good 3-and-D players sounds like a championship level roster to me.
Oh, you motherfuckers. Okay. All right.
So it seems that he has ranked Brandon Ingram at number 12 over Ja Morant, who, of course, comes in at number 13. Due to potential and his one playoff series versus the Phoenix Suns. Now, the problem with this is when you rank or project a player based on one playoff series is you don't know if you're ranking a player based on one advantageous matchup that player had in the playoffs. For a Grizzly perspective on this would be like ranking Dylan Brooks as a top 25 player because he had a crazy playoff series against the Utah Jazz. Now, I'm going to put up Dylan Brooks' playoff numbers against the Utah Jazz and Brandon Ingram's playoff numbers against the Phoenix Suns, and let's see if it makes sense to you. Now, this is a problem, and I believe this is what, as we get closer and closer to the NBA season, and people start to get infatuated with what could be instead of what is, you will see the Grizzlies start to fall down the rankings among NBA media. Now, there's no reason for it. The Grizzlies were one of the youngest teams in the league last year and one of the best teams in the league last year. So why do you think they should get worse? Well, the reason on why people are going to say they should get worse or they will not be as good as last year is because they didn't do anything splashy this offseason. There was no big splash this offseason. There was no big free agent. There was no big draft pick made, lottery pick or top 10 pick added to the roster. There was no big trade coming in where they brought in somebody from another team to put them over the hump. The Grizzlies, as I said last video, are doubling down on their roster, on their methods, the draft, development, Grizz culture. That is what they're doubling down on. And we're going to see what Ja Morant does this season. I'm projecting an MVP season. And we're going to see, will perception have Brandon Ingram as a better player than Ja Morant at the end of this season? I'll let you guess what the truth is going to be. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll be back with you tomorrow with another video. Peace.